On this week's episode of Devil's Trap podcast, take the quiz. Is it a pharmaceutical company, a drug, or a demon?
And are you ready for Christmas? What's in your Devil's Trap sack? Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. Meh.
Let's do this. Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
I'm Liz.
And this week we're talking Season 5, Episode 20, The Devil You Know.
Or is it? Or not? I don't know. You don't know me.
You don't know me. I don't know you.
That's my purse. Anyways, what's going on? We know that's eventually where that goes. So just jump over things. So what's up with you?
Just getting ready for Christmas. That's our world here. The holiday season is in full swing, and doing Christmassy activities. Went and saw a bunch of lights at Fair Park in Dallas the other night. Went and saw some music this weekend. Got together. We had a holiday luncheon with our car club, and getting ready to shut offices down for the holidays. Ready. I've got to get back on my must-watch Christmas movie and holiday movie list. I'm not complete with it yet, but I have checked off a few things. Santa Claus series on Disney Plus was very enjoyable, in my opinion. Santa Claus is what it's called, but I
is that the Tim Allen one?
It is.
Okay.
They made a series. It's like a 6-episode miniseries.
Oh,
but I love those movies, so
okay then.
So I'm biased, but yeah. And I got my Emmett Otter Jug Band shirt on, so I'm gonna make sure I watch that. I haven't watched it yet this year, but it's an annual favorite. I've already watched Elf and cried, so I'll have to do that at least one more time.
I got 30 minutes through Elf now, so like I'm further along.
I love it so much.
And then something happened, like I think like the plane, like the connection stopped, and then I got distracted by something shiny, and then I watched something else.
Damn it. It's so good. It makes me so happy.
I'll finish it one day. Is that like you never having seen Pretty Woman?
Yeah, but like, that sounds depressing.
What, a movie about a prostitute like getting picked up by a John in the streets of Hollywood sounds depressing?
I mean, it sounds like it could be depressing. Yeah, like I think there's some dark underlines.
She shops in it.
I mean,
so
I like
that's
shopping,
cool. And she wears a pretty dress, and she does Julia Roberts things, like goes poo or whatever the fuck she does.
Noted.
I did enjoy in the new movie with her and George Clooney, where someone I think said that she looked like a very pretty horse, and it was like not wrong. Very pretty horse. Not a bad thing. Wow. Horses are pretty.
They're pretty. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's about it. How about you? You had a little mini trip.
Yes, I just jaunted to Vegas. There was a couple on the shuttle to the airport who were also going to Las Vegas, but not on my flight. They were on American, and I was flying the Greyhound to the skies. And I had some bitchin' seats in the Greyhound of the Skies. I'll get back to them in a second. But first, like on the way out, I had the exit row where like the person with 7-foot long legs could sit. Mm-hmm. And normally I feel like an asshole taking it, but the other, like there was an asshole couple of like business dudes who wanted to sit by each other who took the other one. So fuck them. Yeah. So I took that one. And then on my way back, I was in the exit row where next to you're next to that 7-foot long space, and nobody sat next to me, even though it was a full flight. So I had the entire row like a queen. Damn. First class of Southwest, let me tell you. But so this couple, the male portion of it was apparently being shipped off to somewhere. He was going overseas. And then she was like,
Okay.
oh, I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say. And he is like, yeah, you can say that I'm going overseas to blah, blah, blah. And then she says, oh, so he leaves on January, and he like names the day. And he is like, okay, maybe you should just stop talking now. And then they tell the shuttle driver, and consequently me, since I'm also on the shuttle, that they are just going to Vegas for 12 hours. So they were flying to Las Vegas, which is a 2 hour and 45 minute, 3.5 hour minute flight, depending on headwinds, whatever.
Yeah.
To go to Vegas, go fuck around, and then come back. They were also drinking out of a flask on the shuttle. They were quite young. Like they were going to get carded to drink. But I'm just like, damn, I wish I had. It's like, I'm going to get there and go to sleep. Like that's what
I
I'm going to do.
I remember a time where I would have had energy for shit like that. I remember that.
No, my flight got in at around like 10 o'clock, which pretty much went to bed because that's what you do, right?
They must have found a deal.
No, I don't think they had a hotel room. I think they.
No, I know. They must have found a flight.
Well,
deal.
no, she said like they're just doing this until he deploys. That they're like taking like short trips.
Wow, that's a thing.
That's the thing. So they did that, and so yeah, that was fine. And then I've got some holiday shenanigans of my own that are going on this week. And one of the groups of friends that I'm going out with, they are the ones that I went to the UK with. In our group text, apparently not all of us were reading the text messages. My friend Kelly was listening to them on the phone, and we were talking about a video. So apparently this is the conversation that he was hearing on there. It's amazing, and amazing in all caps. And then Julie, yay! It took me so fucking long. I am so over it. Larry, that is the best thing ever. Kelly, I'm driving right now, so I can't see any of this, but the voice is spelling out for me, so wow, am I curious. I replied, it's a penis. Then Julie replied, ha ha ha, I can't wait to give it to him. I hope he sobs like a baby. And yes, that too refers to my penis. I will post a screenshot of that. But that was a conversation that we had about a Muppet that was made, inspired by the Muppets that I made for my friends. So I'm glad this is becoming a thing. I was asked to make the Muppet. I said no. I was asked to help make the Muppet. I said, here is a list of links. And it was a very detailed list of links, but they were lists of links that were made for my friends' small brown niece. So, a different sort of Muppet. But I was like, I'm sure you can make this work. This was for a small, tiny child child is amazing. Hopefully one day she will get her Muppet and will bring her much joy. She also loves Tuna, which is Tina's Muppet. So anyways, Muppets.
Yes.
And I will bring this back around to, I have not watched a Muppet Christmas Carol, which is mine. But I watched that with my mom. So typically we will, because they will watch it when I'm there because they cannot figure out how to make things happen on demand. So
yeah,
we will watch.
I haven't watched that one in a couple of years.
It holds up.
I need to get that one back.
There's a couple of songs in there that are meh, but the rats make it worth it. It's a very fine example of Muppetry.
Nice. I mean, Emmett Otter is a Muppet.
It is as well. It is also a Muppet production. Is it Jim Henson?
And then Scrooge is high on my list too that I need to add in there.
I think it's time for me to watch Scrooge this year. I haven't watched it in a bit. I think I'm going to watch that.
It makes me happy, even if Bill Murray's kind of a dick in real life.
Is he? But I've also heard nice things.
I've heard it's been real bad lately. I don't know.
Well, he's old. Fuck it. Like, let him be an asshole. Like, if I was that old and I was still famous, it'd be fuck off. Like,
yeah, fuck you, pay me.
Yeah. Pay me what you owe me. I've been really nice to you guys for a very long time. I'm over this shit. It's all time.
Yeah.
You do you, Bill Murray. You do you. Okay, so this episode.
I mean, like, I just feel like I'm still slightly affected by 2020 to really engage well with an episode about, epidemics.
But it's not the whole
vaccines. And no, it's not. I'm just teasing. But that part I was watching, I'm like, son of a bitch, I can't watch this shit. But no, it wasn't the whole episode for sure. But when you're going into it, you're like, fuck, right?
Yeah. But there is also you don't even know. So this episode was titled, as Diana said earlier, "The Devil You Know," which could be a reference to the saying, "The better the devil you know than the devil you don't." I don't know why I feel like this has to be like a Jewish mom from Jersey, but I kind of do. It's like the devil you know. But it also was the name of an album by the band Heaven and Hell, which I did not know. Thank you, Supernatural Wiki, for teaching me a little bit of metal history. Heaven and Hell was a band made up of Ronnie James Dio, era Black Sabbath. So, yeah, pretty cool. There also was a dance pop trap called Better the Devil You Know by Kylie Minogue. Is it Minogue or Minogue?
Minogue, I don't know.
Do the locomotive with me. I know she's like very popular in other places. So this was episode 20 of season 5. We are very nearing the end of a lot of storylines and arcs because it's 20. There's only 2 episodes left. So this first aired April 29th, 2010, and was written by Ben Edlund and directed by Robert Singer. So good group behind it, which is why I think the dialogue in this episode is on point. It's so good. Also, it's a Crowley episode, so I'm automatically gonna be, happy.
Yeah, and
maybe in my pants, but so it's a very good Crowley episode too. Like I think it's one of the ones that makes like kind of made me sit up and go, ooh.
Right. Yeah, and so this is, I think, really the first episode that I see engagement with Crowley, right? Like we've met him, but okay, we met Crowley, that's nice, and that was about it. So this is the first time we really get engagement there. So that's kind of a fun thing for sure. Yeah. So.
Then we start off in a very, very distressing area, and it's it's a lab, and it's not even just a lab; it's a lab with 4 things in cages. Oh.
Yeah, we've got rats and monkeys and things in cages. We've got a janitor and 2 scientists walking around, and they're talking about epidemics and profit grabbing and human trials for vaccines. So that's fun. But they're talking about how they haven't even seen the new vaccine.
Not relatable at all. Nope. Totally fiction. Fiction.
I was like about to throw my notes and walk out when they said that. I'm like, oh, I'm done. I'm out. Bye. Like
2010.
I know.
Profits.
So
fucking profits.
Yeah. Anyways, so they're talking about the 2 scientists are discussing they haven't even seen the new vaccine, but the janitor pipes up with that he has, which that's concerning. And then he continues that he's running the experiment, and he stabs one of the scientists in the neck with a syringe, and that scientist collapses. And then he backhands the other one. The monkeys are very upset by this turn of event. And the janitor just says, relax, you're part of it too. Uses his key card to leave, locks them both in. And the scientist that got the syringe to the neck gets up, and he's got really bad orange eyeshadow under his eyes now. Just kidding. His eyes are all red. I was just like, oh, that's kind of a thing, but you didn't pull it off
like,
quite
hey, Liz does
right
that
now.
look sometimes.
Like it's a look, but he just needed a little bit of blending.
I was like, wait, I think there may be orange under there right now. But yeah, also, I mean, I will say when he got jabbed in the neck, like the first one, like I wasn't mad. I was kind of like, I don't think the monkeys, like maybe they were upset, and maybe they're also like, how do you like that, bitch? Like, how do you like being stabbed in the neck with a syringe? Does that feel good to you? And then they were just like, ah. So look at the monkeys, maybe from that perspective.
Maybe they were celebrating.
Maybe they're celebrating and less terrifying. They're still terrifying.
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, he attacks. It's implied that he attacks his scientist buddy that he was just talking to with his crazy red eyeshadow eyes. And then we get blood splatter.
So much blood splatter. Pitter patter blood splatter. And reminder, if you would like a pitter patter blood splatter, see, instead of without twisting the sticker, then slide into Diana's DMs or the show's DMs. It's fine. Please. Either way. Yeah. But the janitor is just watching it. It's creepy. This is kind of creepy.
And guess what? He's a demon. Of course.
And his eye, we know this because his eyes flash black, and he is just very happy that it's all working. And then we cut to the title screen, and it's a very cool. I really like this one. It was because it was like blood, like flowing through the letter supernatural. It's a good opener.
Mm-hmm. So we've got our brothers talking to a doctor at a hospital, and it's kind of like a waiting room scenario, and a bunch of people in masks. And I'm once again like, what the heck is happening? Anyways, and basically,
what's happening is people were sick and wearing masks in a hospital.
Well,
shocking.
I'm just saying that to see a large scale number of people wearing masks is just very familiar. Anyways, but we get Dean making a Michael Jackson King of Pop joke about it. And then, anyways.
And he says too soon. And this was 2010. So had Michael died? That's what I was trying to was like the too soon reference was just because he'd done something else, or had he already passed? I know somebody is like beating on their audio right now. They're like, you motherfuckers, how do you not remember?
Yeah, he died in 2009.
2009. Okay.
2009. So yeah, this would be less than a year after his death.
Anyways, also, Terry Hall died this week, so cheers up to him. Anyway, so back to Mass and fake CDC.
Basically, so basically Sam and Dean are pretending to work for the CDC at this point. And
doing a bang up job, because apparently they're not doing what she wants. Which I think is pretty much
accurate.
You're doing an accurate.
They're talking to a doctor on the ground. They're talking to a doctor on the ground and not doing what that doctor would like to see done. Noted. Fair. Not listening to bureaucrats. Anyways, so the doctor is just like, look, we need a vaccine. It's a type of flu. There's no behavioral changes, because the brother Sam really wants to know, and Dean really wants to know if there's homicidal tendencies. And the doctor's just like, no, it's a mild swine flu. You might be miserable for like a week off of work. It's nothing weird, except for we've had 70 cases in the last day and a half. It's the, quote, infectious equivalent of a briefcase bomb.
Oh, you know what else was weird? What they did not notice, well, I guess they didn't, because they didn't see the end of last week's episode, that the gas station clerk was one of the people in the hospital waiting room.
I thought that was him. Yes. So,
that was him. So that was honestly, it was because that end of that week's episode were supposed to be the beginning of this week's episode, but they needed to fill time because they didn't have enough in that week's episode, because they chopped from that one to put it into the week's episode before it.
Oh, yeah. So it was a rolling problem.
It was a rolling thing. But then I think they filled it out this time. I think.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, the doctor overhears the brothers talking off to the side, where Dean makes a comment about a bunch of statues that started crying, and they very poorly play this off. But basically, she's just like, I need a vaccine. That's all I need.
But, and this is 2010, right? And I was thinking if this was 2022 in a hospital and someone's like, oh, that's when the statue started crying, the doctor would just be like, okay.
Sounds right. Sounds about right.
I don't think she would she'd no longer be like a what? She'd just be like, oh, where was that at? Was that down in Ohio?
Okay.
Anyways,
not
so
yeah. So we've got Hauling Ass and Baby with Bobby on the speakerphone.
And it makes
Talking
me
about-
nervous because the road's kind of wet and they're
very wet,
driving
windy
really
road.
fast, like around
Yeah,
those
they are.
curves. And I appreciate your driving, but I'm still a little like, if I was in the car, I would have been like holding on, like, and doing like the fake brake and being like, oh
I'm shaking my head at you. So they're trying to find Pestilence, and they're discussing why he would be just giving everybody the swine flu. It feels like soft serve, which is a gross mental picture. And but why is he using that when he has access to the Croatoan virus? And he's been through 4 towns that they know of right now, but they can't identify a pattern.
Okay, and this is like one other thing though, like the Croatoan virus that he says they have access to. They keep saying that, but that was something that Gabriel constructed for Dean.
Mm.
I feel like that's problematic. I'm just saying. Like, we don't know if like the Croatoan virus was actually real. That was just something in the future that Zachariah had Dean see. So,
But wasn't it also in the past?
In the past, what they had was like basically just the word was like carved into something in town where people disappeared, like it had in the other thing. So, I don't know. It's just the thing. It's like maybe like I'm sure he can make up a Croatoan virus. He's pestilence, but still, anyways. That was my nerd comment.
Yeah. No, and like, well, I mean, I guess since it's theoretically a virus that exists, he would have access to it. I don't fucking know what pestilence is.
I mean, I think he could do anything, like with sickness. I would guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So basically, their instructions though are just to keep driving east at this point. That's what they got, just east, and they're in Western Nevada, so it's a long way to go east. Then I jump out of my skin because you hear a voice in the back seat says, "Say, I've got an idea," and Crowley's in the back seat with them.
Why does Mark Shepard never just like pop up in the backseat of my car? That would be spectacular.
Well, Dean slams on his brakes. Sam's trying to stab him with the demon knife, but he gone. And nope, not gone. He just knocks on the window because they pulled to a stop and wants to chat. And Sam's just fucking pissed because he says that he's convinced that Crowley knew that the cult would not work on the devil and set them up. And that they lost people on that mission because that's where Ellen and Joe died.
Right.
So Crowley's like, look, we're in this together. I can get pestilence. But Sam's like, nope, don't want to deal. But Dean's thinks about it because Dean is just set on the mission. He's kind of, I think this is kind of where we're seeing a little like, I don't know, not a shift between the two, but I kind of think that this is like Sam's been very practical, mission driven sometimes in the past, and Dean's been a little bit like haywire. And I think we're seeing not a total like flip, but a little shift in their responses to things. Does that make sense?
It does, and I think part of that goes to the evolution of Dean from soldier to leader, then Hellboy, then back, and then Sam's just all whiny and bitchy, and then he like is got all addicted to blood and shit. It's very complicated.
It's a lot. It's a lot to process. So, Crowley's like, "Look, I thought the cult was going to work. Nothing else changed. I still want the devil dead, but now the devil knows that, so I'm fucked."
And he's also
AKA
very upset because they
buggered.
burned his house and ate his tailor.
Yeah, that's not very nice.
It's not very nice. And apparently the suits, I forget the designer that they made them because it's menswear and I don't give a fuck about menswear. But apparently Mark Shepard really liked the suits that he was wearing in the episode and was upset that they kept getting destroyed.
Aw.
So much like this, I can understand why he'd be very upset that someone ate his tailor.
Yeah. So he asks the brothers to go with him. And we go to his own creepy squatter house.
Yep, definitely like a bad Airbnb choice. Like that's probably not like on their Superhost. If you go in, like it probably some like, hey, we've got some pretty nasty bathrooms, which surprisingly have clean water in them, but it's cool. Yeah, and we do have a fireplace that works if you're a demon.
Right. And Crowley is very sad about the lack of bouginess. He's not happy
I
about
don't I
this.
don't understand though, because he's fucking Crowley and he makes fire appear. So why can't he just be like and like make the
I don't
place
know.
look better
He
on
does a
the
lot of fancy
inside?
stuff. He does a lot of fancy stuff with just like a snap of his fingers or a boop, and so it's kind of weird. But yeah, so he's saying that he tells them that he had a tracking device on Baby, and that's why they could find them, and it supersedes their hex bags. So he knows about the rings that he needs to collect.
And not only that, because not only does that magical coin allow him to track Baby, it allows him to listen to their conversations. And oh my, the things I've heard. I really appreciated his oh my take there. And also, how fun would it be to have just like if Sam and Gene Winchester were real, just a bug in their car?
Some interesting and bad. Man, but think of all the music you'd have to listen to.
Oh my god, you'd have to listen to so much dad rock. It'd be great. It'd be great.
Ugh.
So basically though, like Crowley is like, look, I want in, I'm putting the devil in his box. I don't know why I find that amusing. I don't know, devil in his box, also the name of my next album.
It's a little different from the SNL box. Dick in a box, devil in a box, you know. All right. So there we go. But he's like, look, I don't know where Pestilence is, but I know a demon who does. So he's basically the stable boy to the horseman. Let's go convince him to tell us.
Yeah, and he describes his job responsibilities, and that's not a stable boy. That's an executive assistant. He is the executive assistant to the horseman. And
he runs their itineraries.
Yeah, it's just it. And he was like, look, we just need to like, I will sell him because I am the world's best salesman.
Yeah. So we cut to Niveus Pharmaceuticals.
Niveus is a Latin word, and that means white or snowy.
Oh. And we've got this executive giving his super speech to his board, whatever, of people, saying that he doesn't want to hear weeks, he wants to hear days. And they're talking about unprecedented distribution, and the nation is terrified, and they're still testing, and blah blah blah. Anyway, we see the headline on the newspaper.
Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Yeah.
Surgeon General says stay home.
Oh, trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically he's talking about like the I was amused by one of his lines. He's like, well, there's a demand now. Where's my supply? Nice little twist there, sir. Good meeting quip. But anyways, he wants.
But this is not how you motivate your workforce. This is not this is not how you be a good boss. This is what happens, when. Yeah, no, this is the way that I want to say it used to be. Oh, fuck. Okay. Go on.
Well, he gets challenged. He gets challenged in his little meeting about forcing this too quickly, and then he just leaves. He's like, nope. But the guy that challenged him, Mitchell, does come visit and wants to talk to Mr. Brady.
While they're in there and like he's doing his like power play, there is a line where he says, "Do the best of someone better." Also, not how to motivate a workforce, but it's a telling line because it gets replayed. It's a call response that comes in later, but also it's also kind of a bitchin' line. Do my best. It sounds like something like my dad would have said to me, like when I got like a D. Do the best of someone better.
Yeah. It's slightly demotivating. So first Mitchell's trying to apologize to Brady, but Brady stops him, says, no, I need guys like you. I have a position for you in communications. And then he grabs a bowl. And I'm like, oh, fuck. That's what he means by communications. This is not good. That is a blood bowl. A blood bowl phone. So he makes a reference to the managerial world being cutthroat and slits Mitchell's neck and with a very fancy razor.
Yeah. He cuts his throat with a really fancy razor on This off-white colored carpet? What the fuck is wrong with you? What the?
If your slitting throats don't have white carpet, like what the fuck?
Right?
Come on,
Like, at least,
you know.
I mean, like, have a rug there or something. Like, clearly you had the bowl ready. Like, you have thought this through. You know this is where you take your conference
not
calls,
the first
right?
time. Yeah. Yeah.
This is not the first time you've had this amazing blood goblet, because this is more of a goblet than a bowl. And it's got these little heads that go around it in a ring, and I kind of like it. So he goes into the bowl and he starts calling up naming pharmaceutical companies in order to call his boss. And at least that's, what it sounds like. It's me. And now, Diana, it's your turn to name some pharmaceutical companies. Okay, well, you're not going to name some pharmaceutical companies.
Okay.
We're going to play a game, and it's pharmaceutical company, drug, or demon. All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you a name, and this name is going to be either the name of a legitimate operating pharmaceutical company or a legitimate pharmaceutical drug, something that's you would take for something, or a demon. And the demons all came from the Encyclopedia of Demons and Demonology by Rosemary Ellen Guiley. Someday I'll learn how to say her name. So that's where they all come from. The other things came from the interwebs. All right.
Got it.
So you get the concept?
Yeah, I think this is going to be really tough.
And I'm not making any sort of commentary by saying pharmaceutical company, drug, or demon. All right. Number 1. And I can also give you spellings. The first one is Tolmar. Tolmar. Is that a pharmaceutical company, a drug, or a demon?
I come out the gate and go demon.
That is a pharmaceutical company. They manufacture high-quality topical products used in dermatology and extended release dosing forms of products commonly used in urology and oncology. So maybe they're not completely evil. All right. Number 2. Azithral. Azithral. Azithral.
Pharmaceutical drug.
That is a drug. It is an antibiotic. It is used to treat respiratory tract infections and chlamydia.
Noted.
Good for Azithral. All right, number 3.
It's multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose. Folklore.
Lonely Winters. Sorry.
Okay.
What was it?
Number 3 is folklore. Folklor.
I'm going to go with pharmaceutical drug.
It's a demon. Folklore does appear as a man with griffin wings and can drown men in ships.
Okay.
Good for him. All right. Number 4. Adramelch. 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 Adramelch.
I'd say demon.
It is a demon. Yes. He is a chieftain of hell and also governor of the devil's wardrobe, which sounds like a pretty good position. I like it.
It does. All right.
Number 5. Lupin. Lupin.
That's not a professor. It's very hard to separate that.
I knew that's why I would throw you.
See, so that makes me want to go to demon automatically, but I don't think it is. Damn it. Let's say pharmaceutical company.
It is. It is, in fact, a pharmaceutical company. They just got an inspection report from the FDA citing that they did not have the appropriate controls over their computer systems to ensure that changes in master production or records are only done by authorized personnel, along with written procedures not being established to conduct annual reviews of records associated with drug patches. They also noted the site had 68 bags filled with shredded documents. That was just what the FDA noted. Number 6, Antaura. Antaura. Antara.
Drug.
It's a demon. Actually, the Greek demon of migraine headache. So I double checked to make sure there was not actually a drug named Antara,
right?
Because I was like, nah, this like someone had to have done this.
To use that. Yeah.
I expect like next quarter we'll just be watching this back and be like, I'll be watching like the Game Show Network. The commercial will come on for like Antara, and you know it'll help with your migraines, but have like the side effect of like vomiting blood or something.
Yeah, that's always the fun part. The side effects.
All right, number 7, Kedrion. Kedrion. I am kind of sad that like battle rapper is in category because Kedrion, I think that could also be a battle rapper.
Yeah. Kedrion, I'm torn. I think I'm gonna go demon though.
That is a pharmaceutical company. Damn. They produce and distribute human plasma derived medicinal products. A lot of things on their sites about collecting plasma.
Okay.
Kind of gross. All right.
Yeah.
Number 8, Istamet. Istamet.
Demon.
That is a drug. It is used to control blood sugar levels in type 2 diabetes.
Oh.
All right, two more. Number 9, Vepar. Vepar.
See, I want to say pharmaceutical company, but I've said demon so many times in a row that I bet it's demon now. So I'm going to bet demon.
That's how you took your SATs, isn't it?
Yeah. I did find.
So it actually is a demon, sometimes spelled Separ, Separ, appears as a mermaid and can cause a person to die in 3 to 5 days of wounds that putrefy and become filled with maggots. I did also see one of the ways to cure that was with diligence. So maybe if you diligently clean out the maggots from your fucking wounds, you won't die from the demon Vepar.
Yeah, weird how that works.
Weird, yeah. Unless you're using the maggots to cure the wound. Like could you like have maggots like go in like against the other maggots, and like so like if you had the first ones that came in, like could you bring in like a second pair to like battle them?
Maggot battle?
A maggot battle to like you get that demon out. I so would have been burned as a witch. All right. Our last question. You ready? Liderc. Liderc.
Drug.
That is a demon. That is a Hungarian demon. It is an incubus, a household spirit. It can masquerade as a lost lover or a husband, but you can tell that is not your husband. No, it is a Liderc because it will have one goose leg and foot that is trying to hide in his pants. So if like you're fucking and it doesn't want to take one leg off. And so that like
that's amazing.
But yeah, that's how you know like if it keeps the pant leg on. I don't know. Like, you can also but you could also tell like it could take the form of a featherless chicken that suddenly appears or is hatched from an egg that is carried in the armpit.
Huh.
So if you carry an egg in the armpit and then this featherless chicken comes out, which is that just like like what you have like in the grocery store, right? So just like that featherless chicken that like pick up the whole one, just like with a head on it, like that dancing around, like that's the demon.
I like that you had to act that out though when you said it, when you danced around for. Like
yes, if you watch the YouTube, you can see me doing my chicken dance, which is clearly how all those chickens act, right? That's I will say, like, I saw my first chicken with its head cut off when I was like 7, which is probably why I've been vegetarian for a number of years of my life, off and on, because a little traumatizing. But they also dance as they're running with their heads cut off. And that's our quiz. It is kind of frightening.
It is. I didn't do very well on this one. My apologies.
Yes, how dare you not be able to tell the difference between a demon and a drug company?
I mean, I watch a lot of television with like garbage television. They see a lot of pharmaceutical ads.
Well, I
I have
think
one
what's
aside
worse
on
is
that.
like how close they are to actual demonic names, and like
It is. It's so frightening.
you could interchange any of those with
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No questions asked. You mentioned the maggots cleaning out a wound. We were flipping channels and watched part of an episode of Botched the other day, which I know you are an aficionado of, and Babe didn't know that they would still use leeches in situations like that sometimes.
Oh yeah, it's on Botched all the time. Ooh,
yeah, these leeches like on a tip.
I bet I have like a whole season of Botched coming up, like to catch up on. It's like Christmas. Oh. All right. So
anyways,
appreciate that. So we're going to go back to not demons, but these amazing flies that apparently were a bitch to make, but they're really awesome. And there's also
flies
a lot
that are coming out of the blood goblet.
Out of our blood goblet. And there's also a lot of clacking. There's just like this clack in the background from whatever corporate shit's on his desk, but apparently you can also use to communicate with hell. Not surprising.
Yeah. It's the desk balls. I just thought those were so fucking cool. You know what I'm talking about? Like the silver balls. I thought those were so cool.
This is because like you watch TV in the 80s and in the like if you were a businessman, that's what you had on your desk. You had a clacking ball.
If you're a boss motherfucker, you've got the clacking balls on your desk. And
I have no clacking balls.
We're talking about the silver balls that hang from a little.
You can look up fucking clacking balls if you don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I refuse to explain clacking balls.
Okay,
it's in the fucking episode. All right, so go watch the episode and see the clacking balls. All right,
yeah.
so the clacking balls and flies are coming out of there, and he's just talking to his bowl, and you know, and he understands the fly language and the bowl.
He does.
Like, are the flies talking or is the bowl? Like,
I was unclear whether there's just happened to be flies coming out while he was talking to the bowl or if the flies were talking to him. I didn't feel like that was fully
that was not explained. I did appreciate his use of the word grotesque as a positive.
Yes.
That results have been grotesque. Yay!
Yay!
But yes, you know, it's distribution is hard at the side, but he will do the best of someone better.
Because you can't possess them all.
It's like Pokemon. You can't possess them all. All right, so we're gonna go from there back to our squat.
Yeah, back at Crowley's flop house.
Back at C squat. It's Crowley's place at C squat. Okay, so Sam is just like all uppity, and we see Sam at his most uppityness in this episode.
Oh yeah, he does not understand why they are even entertaining talking to and working with Crowley. So they're about to go on a mission, and Crowley's like, "Nope, Sam, you gotta stay here. I don't like you. I don't trust you, and you keep trying to kill me."
Aw, you're not invited.
Yeah. So he's like, well, Dean, if that's not cool with you, you can just enjoy your last few sunsets. But Dean's like, stops him and is like, all right, no. And Sam is not stoked about this. And this is a little surprising, a little bit at this point in their relationship for Dean to be willing to separate and go do this. But Dean's like, no, we got to go. So him and Crowley peel out and baby. And
I think that also because Dean's driving, right? And he's peeling out. So either means he's in a hurry or he's really excited to be with his new friend Crowley. And this is where we start seeing the bud of, so we have Dusty Gale, but so the Crowley and Dean relationship that's going to start is very different. And it's something else that's very, very dear to my heart. And I'll have to SPN fam. Is there a name for this? I don't know if there is, but it's just adorable. And just the I don't like you, Sam. I want to hang out with Dean, and then Dean just being like, "Cool, I want to hang out with Crowley." I like
it. So Sam's gonna stay and sit by the fire, drinking whiskey, and talk to Bobby on the phone. I mean, yeah.
It's just such a funny, like, just the idea of this itself is just this. It's absurd.
It is.
But it's also
But
fantastic. It's just like, I'm going to start like this fire that my demon started and sit here and drink my whiskey while my father figure also drinks his whiskey. This is also the point in Supernatural where I start getting concerned about people's alcohol intake.
Fair. Yeah. But they both agree.
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
just
a
saying,
totally
Diana,
crazy plan.
start noticing it. All right. This is the point
Noted.
where you start observing it.
Okay. Well, they basically agree, but they agree this is all crazy. But Bobby points out, he's like, look, we have no other fucking plans. Maybe it's time to do something crazy. So, and Sam starts asking some interesting questions of Bobby, though, I think here. But basically, he's asking how much Bobby remembers of being possessed, because Sam has come up with a bonkers plan that he is thinking that he will let the devil use his body as a vessel, but then he can try to take back over his body long enough to jump into the cage that they're going to create open for him by getting the rings. Yeah. Bobby is pissed. Bobby don't like this plan.
It's just like, no. And then he does what, sometimes father figures do, and it's not the best way to like go about dissuading somebody, but basically beats him down and tells him, is like, look, man, you can't even control your anger now. How are you going to control the devil when you can't control yourself? Fuck. And then I'm also like, give Sam a little credit. Like, I feel like Sam's been doing pretty good, and he's not total weak sauce. I don't know. So
yeah. Well, I think there still are some very valid concerns about his emotional control. But that also feeds into why the devil likes him, and the devil talks about like why he'll be such a badass vessel to have is because he is a little bit like fiery.
Yeah, he's a spicy vessel. No one wants a sad vessel. You a spicy vessel. All right, so we're going to go from that to another inconspicuous stakeout.
Totally inconspicuous stakeout outside the hospital.
Just parking right outside of, not the hospital. This is the pharmaceutical. This is Nivea's.
The pharmaceutical company. Yes, I'm sorry. And we've got Crowley explains that it's all the human shields are on the lower levels, but the actual demons are on the upper levels.
He's good to have around.
Yeah. So Dean's like, oh, we got to sneak in. Crowley's like, fuck that. I ain't waiting for shit. And he appears in the lobby, disappears from the car, appears in the lobby and slits some throats. And
the expression on Mark Sheppard's face as he's doing this is just delightful. The glee. So, like, Dean, like, has a recognition. So Jensen's just like, oh no, like, no one's in my car. And then it cuts into the lobby. And there is Mark Sheppard. And he's got the knife. And he just, like, looks at the camera and he goes, ha ha! And he cuts the dude's throat. It was so fucking awesome. It was so good. It worked for me a lot.
Dean is a little distressed by this.
I guess like you're supposed to be distressed, but I just think it's hysterical.
But Crowley's like, look, we've got a tight schedule. It's time for you to go get him, Tiger. Probably put Dean on the elevator to go back up. And Dean's like, the fuck? And Crowley's like, yeah, no, it's not safe up there. There's demons.
He's not wrong. Anyways, he's not wrong.
Yeah. But he basically gives Dean instructions on what I told you, just be convincing. So Dean's going on his own to try to convince a demon to flip to their side, basically.
At least that's what he thinks. So we cut to Brady's office, and from inside the office, we hear a thud. And Brady gestures his door open, and I'm not sure if that's just an executive thing, right? Like you've got like the baller office and you can just wish your doors open with your hands. Definitely bucket list.
Yeah.
Or if it's a demon thing. Rad. But Yeah,
no, it was rad. So he immediately asks Dean about Sam. And that's not great. So, he said, I'm not there to ask you for anything. But Dean just continues what his plan is to tell Brady that he's not there to ask you for anything. I'm there to offer something. That, he's got the rings of the 2 of the horsemen. Heard you wanted them back and would pay for them. And you just have to go with me quietly to do this transaction. And that's it.
That's it, right? And
That's
then
all.
Brady counters that offer. Coffee is for closers, Dean, and those rings are useless because they're just shriveled up little hunks of horsemen. You know what I want? I want some retribution. I'm gonna take it out of your ass.
Rip
What?
it right out of your ass.
Oh, this is not how things are supposed to go.
No. And Brady calls this quite, therapeutic as he beats the fuck out of Dean down this hallway with blood all over Dean's face. He's on the ground. But Dean manages to make it to the elevator being pursued.
It does look therapeutic. I mean, not like I don't want to kick Dean. I don't want to kick Judges and Ackles either. No. But like if it was something that was not actually a person that would not be hurt, that I could just like kick down a hallway, yeah, that would be therapeutic. But not Dean. No.
No. But Dean makes it back down to the main floor. And as soon as he gets there, he gets hit in the back of the head by Brady and knocked the fuck out. But Crowley...
also, he elbows in the head, like, is a nice wrestling move. Oh. And I do enjoy a good elbow. That is, like, if you don't fight me, because that's one of my go-to strikes. But,
okay.
Yeah, as he does that, like, Crowley pops up, and he's got the sack. This burlap sack with the
he's
devil's
got a burlap
trap.
sack ready to roll with a pentagram on it and everything.
Oh, it's a devil's trap. Not a pentagram. It's a devil's trap.
Okay. It had other sigils on it too, though.
It's basically what it is. It's a devil's trap in a sack. That's a rhyme. So
devil's trap sack.
Devil's trap sack. But also I do want to know, like, when, like, that. Where did you acquire the sack? Where you had the marker, and then you just like you took your time to draw on your sack.
It's an effort to find a sack like that these days. They don't just don't buy potatoes in them anymore. It's like a whole thing. Yeah. Hobby Lobby, Michael's, something like maybe Joann's if you're lucky. I don't know.
Yeah, depending on what day you're in Joann's, like who's there, like what's going on. Like shit happens at Joann's, guys. It's pretty crazy in there. But anyway, so like this sack on his head is like gonna keep him from cock smoking out, right? So it's smart. And then he just proceeds to beat the shit out of him with a crowbar, which apparently was also Mark Shepard was not instructed to beat him that many times. And originally it was like this flimsy crowbar that like when he hit him was bouncing too much. So he got like this rubber thing. So he basically beat the fuck out of the stunt dude with the rubber crowbar.
Ow.
Still kind of hot. Ow. So anyway, and
apparently this was the plan all along. Crowley knew this was going to happen. Not shocked. Poor Dean. But... Anyway, but Crowley's like, yeah, no, it had to be believable that you were shocked that he didn't take the deal. So, yeah, it is what it is.
And that's what you get for working with a demon. Love it so much. So we're going to go back on the road. And
back on the road.
Things are getting dirty in the backseat.
They are. They're getting fucking blood all over the upholstery. And Dean is pissed.
What is Baby Vinyl? What's her upholstery situation?
I mean, it's probably vinyl. It's not. I
don't see the
leather. I would guess vinyl is a safe guess there.
Yeah, so that could stain, blood could stain. I could get it if it was like a light colored vinyl.
Well, and if it's perforated, I know it's black, but like still like gross. I don't know. But Crowley's carving a sigil into the chest of Brady because it ties him down to the meat suit, so he can't black cock smoke out. And Crowley then tells Dean that they need to go a different route because they cannot go to Sam because Sam and Brady have history. And Dean is not into this. He's like, nope, I need to fucking know what's going on before I make that decision.
Yeah, he just like rips the car over and is like, Argh! Motherfucker, we're gonna talk. We're gonna
This is
talk.
a stunt driving episode,
Yeah,
surprisingly.
there was some very nice driving and lots of good baby action in it. Well, we
Mm-hmm.
cut to Sam, who was literally twiddling his thumbs, sitting there while he's waiting for them in the squat.
Do people know how to do that anymore?
Because you're twiddling your thumbs on your phone is where you're twiddling.
I guess. That's weird to think about. You're right. Holy shit. That just blew my mind. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So then we cut, like, Sam is like coming downstairs and he's just like, Crowley's just like, where is Dean?
And Crowley's like, look, I disagree with this plan. I begged Dean not to come back here. We should be miles away, but this is what we got to do. Sam, you need to go ahead and not ruin our last best hope. Remember, it's the end of the world. So Sam goes to the other room where we have Dean and Brady tied up, sitting inside the middle of a devil's trap, and
still has a sack on his head. And I don't know why it looks so funny, but like him with the sack on his head just cracks me up. I don't know why. It just does. I think maybe because it's a very silly sack.
It's kind of a silly sack. Silly sack.
Silly sack. And Dean, so at this point though, he's just like, dude, you gotta stay on mission, bruh, stay on mission.
I trust you. But then Brady, through his hood, says, Sam? And
he just
Dean
starts talking.
Removes the hood, and Sam recognizes him. And says Brady hasn't been Brady in years.
Oh,
so
shit.
We find out that Sam and Brady, this is the Brady that was Sam's BFF and roommate in college. And since the middle of sophomore year, though, Brady was a demon. Yeah, not good. That means that Brady's also the person that introduced Sam to Jess.
Oh, shit. No. And this really goes into like more of that fate shit, right? So we have like how far back like his life was being fucked with. And manipulated,
yeah.
But I think also like Sam realizing this guy is a reason that Jessica is dead. I don't think he's even gotten to like the rest of it, right? How fast could you process that? Like that has to be like a mind. That's a lot of mind fuckery, right?
Total mind fuck.
We'd never have met Jessica if it wasn't for him. She would still be alive. And then he hasn't even gotten to like the second part of like why he was introduced to Jessica in the first place, right? So now he's just dealing with the Brady shit. And and Dean's just like, won't let Sam go after him. It's like, no, we need him.
Gotta get him out. We need him. And Crowley's actually kind of amused that we've got Brady all proud of himself for, getting Sam all fired up. So, basically, Dean says that Brady needs to get them Pestilence's information. That's it. And Sam is just shocked that they're still trusting Crowley on this at all. And he actually makes a throwback to himself.
And I want to pause you here because I think I may have lost something and we may have to cut because you cut out. So I'm not quite sure. You pointed out that when Crowley was talking to him that he thanked Sam for having Brady all nice and fluffed.
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk about that?
I didn't say it directly, but that's why I was saying that Crowley was glad that he got him all fired up.
But like fluffed is, he was a fluffer. Right, which is, I just feel like I had an urge to point out what a fluffer is, in case people are audience.
Sorry. You can go ahead and do that. I was just going to skim past it, but go.
You just want to skip past the fact that basically Crowley said, so a fluffer is somebody who gets people hard on a porn set before, like if a guy has to, do like a scene and he needs to get his dick hard really fast, that's somebody who is there who helps get his dick hard either by jacking him off, sucking him, or whatever you do in order to fluff him. And so he thanks Sam for getting nice and fluffed, and then he goes to finish the job. So just a very sexual thing that happened that I had to point out. And Diana's God damn it, why'd you have to point that out?
I was talking about Sam realizing the trust issues that he has developed for demons,
Oh,
which is fair
fine.
at this point because
He
he's like,
made a
he doesn't.
character realization that's so much more
Yeah.
important than penises and people like getting fluffed and finishing
Oh my
jobs, whatever.
Yeah. But he's talking about how their trust of Crowley reminds him that how he trusted Ruby and he trusted Brady at school. So he's seeing the parallels, which is feeding his distrust of this whole situation.
But it's growth, also growth.
It is. So,
And
Crowley's going to try to sell Brady on this whole plan. And Brady is not buying it. He's like, look, Brady's not convinced that they're fucked. He knows that Crowley's fucked.
He's like, no, I've seen this timeshare. Yeah, I've been here for a week and the all-inclusive was really nice. But I know that I can't, sublet this timeshare with Mabel in January. And I'm not interested, Crowley. And so he basically counters and he is like, look, you think you have, you've got the play here. But Lucifer's never going to let you die, man. You're fucked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Brady's going to stay on what he considers the winning side. And then that song started playing in my head. Thank you, Oingo Boingo. Anyways, but my comment: Brady is real douchey, cocky, right? Super cocky.
Brady looks like he runs a pharmaceutical company. And so I have no sympathy for Brady whatsoever, or at least the thing that is inhabiting him. No, I kind of torture him, whatever. But I do appreciate that Crowley is just baller. It was like, and we're done. And he walks out, which is the key to making sales or negotiations, right? Is
know when to walk away.
You just know when to walk away and that's fine. And he's just like, yeah. Didn't need you.
Yeah. So we've got Dean sitting around drinking beer with books and asks Crowley if Brady is buying Girl Scout cookies. And Crowley says, not yet. Where's your moose?
And I think this is our first time, and Dinah, you may not, this is the first time that we hear Sam reference this moose. So it is a supernatural canon. I don't know. Something should happen here. Fireworks, something, I don't know, blow some shit up, whatever. Moose, make all the girl boy music go, all right. So Crowley starts explaining to Dean that Brady just won't budge, so he's gonna kick open a hive of demons. And he silently, so he flaps away, and then I just started questioning, he doesn't flap, so what do demons do? Do they pop? Do they vanish? Do they, what do they do?
They might flap. They could flap.
But they don't have wings, right? That's what makes the flapping happen.
That's true.
So demons just, I guess they just pop.
Pop.
Whoop.
Pop out.
But they don't make a pop sound. I wish they did. That would be satisfying.
It would.
And then Dean washes his face in that sink. Ew.
He has to go wash his face in the sink.
Ew.
Which gives Sam the opportunity to lock him in there with a chair.
Would you do that?
Wash your face in that sink?
Yeah.
I
think I'd just be dirty. I mean, but the water was, like I said, the water was surprisingly clean.
Clear. Yeah. So Sam locks him in there, pulls the demon blade, and going to go after Brady. And Brady's just talking Sam's ear off. We get a little monologue. And, talking about how when, I was your best friend. And when I came back from that break and I was all messed up and I dropped out of pre-med with drugs and bitches, this is line, and that Sam was a good friend trying to get me back on track, but Yellow Eyes didn't send me to be your friend. No, they were losing him. He was a mild-mannered sack of piss. Ouch.
So, what kind of sack holds pee? I mean, it's obviously not the burlap sack.
Not porous. Yeah, something non-porous. I don't know.
Why would you have a sack of piss? This whole line, I was just like, ew. And then
I've heard it as a saying before. You haven't?
Yeah, but no. I was just, then I started picturing, remember when we had the last gas scare and people were carrying the plastic bags full of gasoline. And I just pictured those full of piss. So that's what I was thinking there. So then Brady just drops in that he got Sam to love someone that was very innocent, and then he toasted her. And so now we're learning
pure, sweet, innocent piece of tail. is his
Ew.
line.
So gross. So fucking gross, man. Oh, it's fucking douche, man. Like, it just like, just,
And then he laughs about toasting her on the ceiling. And Sam's about to snap. Sam cuts his neck a little bit, and Brady's goading him for it. But Sam stops. And then the next scene, Sam's letting Dean out of the bathroom. Oh my gosh, did he do it? Did he do it? No, Brady's still alive because Sam agrees that they need him. Yay! Maybe. I don't know. Hopefully. Oh. So Crowley shows up and informs Brady that Brady's going to live forever too. Because he just completed a massacre at a demon nest. But I let one live and let it slip that Brady left his post because they, Crowley and Brady, are lovers in league against Satan.
bow. Yeah. So, yeah. So this is amazing. Also, I feel like Lovers in Leagues Against Satan is some sort of mom's group that came out with Satanic Panic. And I was just, he's like, tell me what you know. But then we hear, oh, or not quite, but it's the sweet chimes of my favorite puppers next to Kevin, Faith, and Ash. Of course.
Hellhounds. Son of a bitch. They put the demons in the massacre in the nest, put one of the trackers on Crowley, so now the hellhounds followed him there. This is not well. But Brady's like, fuck this. I'll tell you anything you want if you get me out of here. Effective, I guess. But Crowley's like, nope, it's too late. Oh well.
Because I am the Caesar Milan of hellhounds. That's what I.
And, well, he just disappears.
Yeah, well, because he knows his hellhounds, and he was just like, nah, that's my shit. So recognize my Caesar Milan of hellhounds joke. That was a good joke.
I like it.
Okay, thank you for acknowledging it. And so they're way past go, and yes, he does. He flips the coin to Dean, and he just pops out. So baller move.
Mm-hmm. So we got the hellhounds breaking in. We got Dean getting salt and shotguns, and Sam's trying to untie Brady
while saying, "I told you so."
Yeah, and and Dean's actively trying to shoot the hellhound and not having a lot of luck. But then Crowley's back. What? And he's distracted the hellhound, and he tells Dean that he's invested currently, and tells the hellhound to stay. He goes, psst, like Caesar Milan, right? And they
Caesar Milan, stay. And then they're like, what? It is a hellhound whisperer?
Ooh. It is. And Dean asks if he can control them. He says, that one. And he pats one on its head right by him. And he's a big boy. He brought his own and tells it, sick him. And then we have this crazy hellhound fight.
Okay.
That you cannot see.
Yes, it is an invisible dog fight. And then I'm like kind of upset because there are doggos fighting. And I don't like it when doggos are fighting. And it's very upsetting. But also, according to the stunt coordinator, Lou Bolo, the stunt people were doing this, right? So they had to wear green from top to bottom, and they could barely see. And they were diving through windows, landing on tables, going through doors and walls and all that shit. So I recommend going back and watching this scene again, knowing
that's wild.
That all those effects were people.
There's people.
And not just like things popping up. I just knowing that, watching it was like it just kind of made it so much bigger and made it slightly less upsetting that these were fake invisible dogs that were having a fight, because I don't like the idea of dogs fighting. But I do also enjoy the idea of a giant hellhound.
I know.
Giant, because like where Crowley put his hand, that dog is way taller than me sitting down, and I could ride him.
You could ride him. Liz needs a saddle for her hellhound.
Yes, please. Dear Krampus, all I want for this year is so and when they escape to their car, and Crowley leaves his doggo behind. It's rude.
Well, but he didn't have him with him earlier. He's okay. He'll come back. He's a good doggo.
Okay. I really picture that dog looking like Kevin, and so all hellhounds look like Kevin. They do. All right. So they're in the car, and then we cut to an alley.
Yes. And in this alley, we've got Brady hands Crowley a note and said, he's like, look, I'm sure Pestilence will be there. I've got no reason to lie. I'm in the same boat as you now. And because you've, screwed me now for eternity. So, and Crowley's like, no, I'll do you a favor. And in the background, we've got Dean, Sam standing there with the demon blade, and Dean is pouring salt to block off this alleyway.
And also in the background of this alleyway is framed the Impala.
Yes. Such a good framing.
So sexy. I love the way they did that. It was so good. It's very noir. Yeah. And it's just because it's dark and kind of like drizzly. It's like, oh, it's so good.
Yeah. So Dean gives a little pep talk, I guess, now of his own about all these angels, all these demons, all these sons of bitches. They just don't get it. We're the ones they should be afraid of.
It's so good. It's such a good speech. I love that one. But Brady's like, I'm an evil villain, so I have to monologue.
Ugh. And he's mocking Sam. So mocks them for trusting, mocks him for having the same stuff in his veins, and then tells Sam the difference between you and a demon is your hell is right here. Oof. So
yeah,
Sam
and also like it's
with a demon blade.
And they're also before the stabbing too, but beyond that, there's also in line the reason this is running through your veins, and you hate us because you hate yourself.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
It's a rough one.
But then Sam stabs him, and you get the demon lightning flicker, and Sam kind of smirks.
He smirks a lot.
A little dark. When he's doing it. So.
Okay, so. And this whole monologue about Sam hating himself, like, I think this is a crucial thing, but also, duh. Like, haven't we been dealing with this for like 5 years? Like, so you're like Brady, you think you're like dropping like some giant bomb that Sam has to learn. But I think Sam's been dealing with this, I have demon blood inside of me for a bit.
I don't want to be a freak. I'm going to be a super freak. I don't want to be a freak. Oh, I'm evil. No, I'm not. Oh my God.
Yeah, hopefully by now you've worked through this. I mean, granted, like Brady brings up a whole other shit. You need to work on that stuff. Let's not regress. Let's go about the other thing. Well, so after he stabs him, he walks away and he just leaves the stabbed corpse in an alley. So, like, next season on Dateline, the tragic story of Brady, who recovered from his downward drug spiral after, like, he came back from Thanksgiving and he was changed, but he fought his way out of it, became the head, like, CEO of a pharmaceutical company, only to tragically die in an alleyway. Like, what really happened? So, that'll be next season on Dateline. And then once again, we're just like, oh, baby, in the alley. Yes. So, we got to unexpectedly to Bobby's house. And so again, like I kind of like, I don't know if this is true, but remember how the last scene from last week's episode was supposed to be the first scene of the next week's?
Yes.
Do you feel like this could have been the first scene of next week's?
Well, I don't know because I haven't seen next week's.
I don't know, but I just mean like you could have stopped in the alley, right? I think that would have been fine.
That would have been a fine ending. I agree. Yes, that would have been a fine ending to the episode.
Yeah, so
I kind of don't mind these carryovers though. I think they're interesting
because it also feels like a good teaser, right? Like it's a good teaser. So we cut to Bobby's house.
Yeah, and he's on the phone talking to Rufus. They're looking for omens that could be signs of death. The
big
horseman.
D. They're looking for the big D.
The big D. And then Crowley's there. Bobby is not happy that Crowley's there.
He just pops in a lot. Like kind of like Cassie's just, I'm here.
Bobby points his pistol at him. Crowley tries to introduce himself. Bobby shoots him anyway. Crowley is annoyed because he liked that suit.
Yes. So,
But
and we also learned that his meat suit was a moderately successful literary agent out of New York. I could see that. I could see that being a literary agent.
Yeah. So he explains to Bobby that he's there to look out for himself because Sam and Dean are out looking for ring number 3, but we're still going to need ring number 4 and we're going to need help. So Bobby's like, well, do you know where Death is? And Crowley's like, nope, I don't. So Bobby points shotgun at him and tells him to leave.
Well, and he
so
does like the Bobby version of the get off my lawn and tells him to get the hell off my property before I blast you so full of rock salt, you crap margaritas, which is a Jimmy Buffett song I really need.
Yeah. More than most of the others. So Crowley's like, no, but I can get Death's location. It's a spell, and there's an embarrassing technicality though. So and Bobby guesses that you need my soul. And Crowley's like, I've done more with less. And I thought that was really funny. I like that one.
And he also points out that most of the people who are getting Grammys shouldn't be thanking God. They should be thanking him, which is also fair if you look at the number, who wins Grammys. Anyways, but I also think no shit. Why didn't they try this with Sam or Dean? He's a crossroads demon. So apparently, this is how he works. You can make a wish.
Yes.
He needs your soul. Mm-hmm. And according to him, as we'll learn, he's going to give it right back. So, but why are we just doing this now? Why don't you just find I don't know, Tom on the street? We can't risk Sam or Dean's soul. What about, Ben over here? He looks fine. He's got hey, can we just borrow your soul for a second? Can you just wish this?
Yeah. So you're fighting your war Bobby's response. Yeah, I like Bobby's response though. Is okay? Here's my counter, and he shoots Crowley with a shotgun. Yeah, but Crowley's still undeterred. He's like, "Nope, I'm an ally because an enemy of my, the enemy of my enemy. So I'll give your soul right back. So just think about it." And Bobby does think about it, and that's where we leave off.
It is. It's where we leave, and just this very I'll give it right back, and. So good, but it is a very that's a good cliffhanger. Is Bobby going to give up his soul?
I don't know.
So do we want to do some casting couch and then come back?
Sure.
Okay.
Casting couch. It's the casting couch. Were they on that show that time with that guy? La 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 la.
Yeah, let's hit casting couch real fast. So we've got Brady is played by Eric Johnson. He was the teen Tristan in Legends of the Fall. He has a lot of movie roles in TV
Was that Robert
episodes.
Redford as a youngin?
I think so.
Yeah, I think did it for me as a kid, as a younging, a blooming adolescent woman. I think I remember a young Robert Redford being quite attractive.
So he's done a ton of television, a lot of single episodes, a lot of smaller roles in movies. He did a run of Christmas movies in the early 2010s. He was Jack Hyde in 50 Shades Darker and 50 Shades Freed. Ooh. He's a regular character named Whitney on Smallville, an ongoing character named Eric on Vikings, and Chad Mulligan on American Gods.
Oh, yes. I'd also like to see, I was now I'm probably just going to some weird porn. Gentleman. He's a handsome gentleman. I would like to see him with Eric from True Blood. Yeah, y'all should do a calendar together. I'm just saying.
And then our the doctor from the beginning is Carmen Moore. She's a regular character, Kristen on the Flash TV series. She's Hannah on the Nancy Drew TV series, so she's all up in CW. She was also on a couple episodes of Vikings and an episode of Smallville, so that's just a funny overlap I caught. She's also in a couple other episodes of Supernatural, and she's done a few episodes of iZombie, Magicians, and a lot of other just single episodes of television. Yeah. Then we've got Dr. Drake, was the doctor from the scientist in the first or the scene at the lab in the beginning. He's a Lebanese Canadian gentleman named Mark Ganime, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that.
Yeah, but I've seen him a lot.
He was his first role, and I love the way it's written, and it's like, man, acting is weird and credits are weird. His first role ever was uncredited, but it was the Julia Lewis movie called Chasing Freedom. But he was in a movie, or an ongoing show called Helix. It was a pretty major Balisera on that. A lot of television, just single episodes. He did a run of his Christmas movies himself in the late 2010s, and he's on that TV show as Dr. Hayek on Virgin River, which is a pretty popular Netflix show.
Yeah, I looked
Chris
into
Shields.
what Virgin River was, and it looked. Yeah, I swear he was a baddie in something else. Damn it. Okay, go on.
Well, and then Dr. Keller is the other doctor, the African American doctor, Chris Shields. Done a lot of TV, a lot of single episodes, but we're talking Nancy Drew and some multiple, like where it's like 4 episodes or things like reoccurring characters, but not a regular character. But Nancy Drew, Riverdale, Smallville, Fringe, Batwoman, Wayward Pines, iZombie, bit parts in movies, including bit parts by like smaller roles, not a knock. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, 50 Shades of Grey, Chappie, which you don't hear references to very often. The BFG, he did some Christmas movies as well, including Christmas in Dollywood, and is a movie called Elysium. He was a doctor in that as well.
I remember Elysium very well.
So there we go.
Very cool.
That's what we got for Casting Couch this week.
Casting Couch.
So yeah, I really enjoyed Crowley. I understand now, Liz. I understand.
Yeah, I think we're really like this episode allows him to bloom a lot as a character. But I would like to know like what your reaction was to this whole idea of how far like pulling Brady being back that Sam knew from college.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think that it's not like.
Was it surprising?
It was a surprise, but it wasn't a total shock because, like, I mean, like the Jess thing is fucking harsh, but I mean, the implication has been that everything they've been doing and have done has been fated, F-A-T-E-D is what I'm saying, not fated, but fated, and their lives have been fucked with because of who they are forever. So I found like at first I'm like, oh fuck, I'm like, what is it? Is it really that shocking? Maybe not. Maybe it's not that shocking after all. You know, you're
catching on.
Mean. It's fucking mean. Poor Sam. Poor Sam. But yeah, I think that was kind of my reaction, my process on it was I was like, damn. And I was like, oh, that sucks, but it's not super shocking.
No, I get that. But I still think it was a good plot line.
It was. I agree. I enjoyed that. I think that's going to mentally fuck with Sam more, but I also think it's going to make them dig in more on the importance of this and really focus, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So we've got 2 episodes left to go. Any predictions?
I think we're going to have some more mucus in the next episode because they've got to get pestilence, and I'm not looking forward to that.
That is a good thing to be afraid of.
I don't want any more. He's very mucusy.
He is very mucusy. What else?
I think that Sam's going to have some more emotional volatility as he processes everything that's going on, and Dean's not going to handle that well. And
so I think the crux of the season, though, who will say yes to the vest? Who's going to say yes to the vest?
I don't know if anybody's going to yet. I'm still in the zone that they're both going to say no.
All right. We will find out in the upcoming episodes of Double Strap Podcast. Leaving you on cliffhangers. All right. Yeah, that's what I be saying. Let's wrap this shit up. All right. Cheers, jerk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios podcast network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.